Yeah, this was the games of chance. You had to import random. This is the Python script. They just wanted to write a few things. So the money was the global variable there, which how much money they have, right? And then I had to write these scripts here. That was a flip coin. That was heads or tails. So the bet amount it goes in, it goes that's into them all. The heads or tails was if you choose tails. That's just some output I put up there. Call in. So I'm converting, like say heads or tails. Heads. If heads is sent in here, you had to put in a text. Then call in would be 1. Otherwise, it would be 2. And that's what I did there, right? Then you would call the random number generator to get a number between 1 and 2, and then you would compare that between what my heads or tails conversion to an integer was, and then you would win or lose based on that criteria. That was all that did, right? The Chohan thing basically did rolled 2 dices. I made a odd or even call, which was 1 or 2. Again, same thing, and I would compare that to the result in here, odd or even result 2. Now there was a little bit more to this because you had to get a random call from 1 to 6. There was 2 dice, and the result was adding them together and seeing which one was odd. So the result divided by the modulus 2 would return would be even. Otherwise, it was odd. So it was initially odd, and then I reset it to even if it was even, right? So if odd or even was equal to the result 2, and that was my value coming in there. I actually didn't use that one there in the end. I converted it into odd or even. Odd or even, and then you print you 1, and it would compare with result 2 because it did it there. I didn't actually use that in the end. That was what the Chohan did. Then there was the high card amount. That was straightforward enough. There was more to it, which I did later on with in terms of manipulating the lists, which they asked for the extra bit there. But that was if they chose a card from a deck of cards, and if player 1 had a higher card, then the player 1 would win, and otherwise he would lose, and otherwise they would be a draw. So the bet amount would be 0. Nobody would lose any or gain or lose any money whatsoever. Then there was the roulette here. If you could put in odd or even, in which implied that you wanted to play this version of roulette. So that was just printing out some stats there before we started. Again, here call in was mapped to the guess value, which was odd. If it was odd, it was 2. If it was even, it was 1. Then you would generate a random number, odd or even, and that would get mapped to the call-in value, and you would then win or lose, right? Then the other version of roulette that they wanted to implement was the American roulette, and you'd either get 0 or place it on 0, 0, or 0, and you would get it was implemented exactly the same way, and you would get 35 times you amount your money back, or just lose whatever you had. That was it. So that was, as far as I know, that's how you implement roulette. I'm not much of a roulette player. And then all of these were just called with various variables. That heads or tails was tails. That was odd for the Chohan one. And now in this one, this is I originally had it as just generating a random number, but then they said that if you were picking it from the same deck, I would then remove the first card that was taken out. So I created a list of numbers which represent the cards, and I would get a random index based on the length of that list. So the len of list 1 was 9 characters. And I would then get the index. So I would have to, it would be 0 to 8, 8 being the maximum index, get a random index, then I would get a player card, and then I would remove that index, that card from here, right? So whatever index I got from here, I would remove it. So that would simulate that card being gone from the same deck. And then I did the same thing and chose another card, and then I fed those 2 cards back into the high card function, and that was it. And the roulette then I just called odd, and in this case it was 0, not 0, 0. I just demonstrated all of some features and stuff like that. Okay.